My entire career has largely been a shift and a transition and a pivot. I spent about 10 years of my career early on in the corporate side of things, working in-house, internally helping companies to build robust financial and operational infrastructures. So with a degree in accounting and finance, after spending about 10 years in that space, I felt like, and this has been true for me at different moments and times during my career, there's almost something that no longer feels good about what I do. And I don't mean good in the, I don't mean it as like a binary good versus evil, but just good in the sense of what really leads me to feel more fulfilled in my own career trajectory. And I was also at the same time volunteering for a lot of grassroots-based organizations. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona at the time, and found a lot of joy and fulfillment from that because I felt like I was contributing to helping make the world a better place, not to sound too overly cliche. And working with a lot of women's empowerment groups, reproductive healthcare organizations. And so for me, that transition was full of opportunity because I felt like I could have a larger impact on the world. And so shifted from the corporate world to the nonprofit world. For the next 10 years, I spent working with nonprofit organizations, helping them to build better best-in-class business practices on the internal side. And worked with great organizations like Teach for America, the Girl Scouts in Boston, which was a lot of fun, and served as CFO of a local Planned Parenthood affiliate, and then became CFO of International Planned Parenthood. You know, Mary, honestly, I had walked into organizations for that decade, cleaning up, I guess you could say cleaning up mess in a way. So helping organizations become better and peeling back the layers to help them understand what they didn't know from the finance, operations, compliance, technology perspectives. And then I thought, okay, so maybe it's time for me to create my own mess. So I became an entrepreneur and launched 2 businesses. And so for me, that led me then to launch Six Figures, which for, oh my gosh, about 8-9 years was a premier networking group in New York City for highly accomplished women. And I brought together really diverse women who were diverse in terms of professional and personal background, in terms of job industry, job functions. I think for me, even though many times I didn't realize that I was in a transition, once I took a step back to say, I don't think I feel very good about this, that was usually the beginning marking point of me transitioning into something else. And for me, I think there's a moment in time that I entrench myself very deeply, become very skilled and very honed in that space, whether it's an industry or a job function or just, the way in which, you learn through leadership development. And then knowing that I want something more. And in many instances, that something more just happens to be, learning lessons that have accumulated for myself over time. There's a negative connotation to it because it implies change, and change is scary and difficult and frightening. And for me, I now tend to think of them more as opportunities. The art of networking is incredibly important. And no matter if that's in person, no matter if that's digitally, no matter if it's keeping in contact with those you want to keep in contact with on LinkedIn, I think for me, the sense of moving from one sphere of something to another is really about ensuring that you have your tribe around you and that you build your tribe. And this is what I wish I would have had early on in my career. Look for your tribe in those places that bring you joy. So when I think about networking, I often think about the dreaded, exchange of business cards. But if you network in those places where you actually enjoy the activity at hand as well, then you're more likely to be yourself in your own skin and show up in your best version of yourself. And then surround yourself with like-minded individuals who also can bring that energy to the room in the sense of the energy that you bring forward.